Hey guys, welcome in, welcome in. Give you guys all some time to get on here while I adjust my technology settings. You guys know how much I love my technology. We are besties. We're becoming besties. Me and technology, that's what we're doing. So welcome, as I see you guys joining in. Hey James, what's going on? So I wanted to thank you all. If you're on with me live, I so appreciate it. If you happen to be catching this on the replay, I appreciate that investment as well. This is our 30 books in 30 weeks reading challenge. We're on week 2 this week. For those of you who don't already know me, my name is Marcy Batiste. I am a public speaker and an author. And what I want more than anything is to help women shine. I firmly believe that every woman has star power, and it's my objective to make sure that she has the tools in her toolbox to fully embrace that star power and really shine. So to that, I'm going to be leading a community of women who are committed to helping one another shine, refusing to let anyone dim their light. 2018 represents our 1,000 Women campaign for raising the bar on our love and life and relationships and all that good stuff. In addition to being a speaker and an author, I have a company called Bankable Success Advisors, which is a leading recovery solutions provider. And so that curing the emotional bankruptcy, raising the bar, unleashing your star power, that's what I'm all about. That's what I'm passionate about. Helping my sisters shine. I firmly believe that in order for in order for a room full of us to shine, it doesn't dim the light of anyone else. And so for me to be able to be that beacon and share the lessons that I've learned along the way is truly an honor. And they say to whom much is given, much is required. And so I really feel that not only is it an honor, but it's an obligation for me to bring some others along. And so that's what 2018 is all about, is really raising the bar on my community of women, raising the bar for myself, and how I lead them on this transformational journey. Hey Terry, I see you. Thank you for all of the hearts. I appreciate that tremendously. So we're on week 2. This is the week that we are focusing on this book right here, Women Who Love Too Much. And like I shared with you guys yesterday, don't get hung up on the title because it says Women Who Love Too Much, because there are a whole lot of men out there looking for love, looking for fulfilling relationships, and struggling in many of the same ways that we do as women. And so I decided that because I know weddings and marriage and relationships are on a lot of people's is listed for their New Year's resolutions, right? And so I thought, last week we talked about being fully engaged and what that looks like to really go after the things that you want. Thank you for sharing, Terry. The rest of you that are on, please share this video out. I definitely would appreciate that. But so we're talking about this in this book. It talks about women who love too much, and like I said, don't get hung up on the fact that it says women, because there are a lot of men struggling with fulfilling relationships as well. And I really want to talk about some of the indicators. And there's a link on this thread where I've actually listed all of the top 20 indicators that you may love too much, and what that looks like in action. And so it's available. Hey, Bubby. Hey, Henry. The document is available for download. You just click the link, and it's gonna open up my website. And on that home page right there I made it real simple for you to be able to get the document. But actually, because it's just so important for all of us, if we're looking for and trying to create an environment that we can love in a healthy way and be loved back in a healthy way, we gotta know the signs. And so I want to go over some of them with you guys. So I was looking at my list, and it's crazy because you guys have to remember, fully all transparency, everything that I do comes from personal experience. So when I suggest that something will work, when I say that something will work, when I give you a tool, I know that it works because I was my very first client. If you guys knew who I was 15 or 17 years ago, before I went on my journey as a 386-pound person who was miserably married, the whole 9 yards. So all of the strategies and everything that I've learned and all of the skills that I've amassed over the years, things like this book, I know that these tools work because I lived them out. And so I'm going to go over real quick. And like I said, I'm not going to linger on a lot of these because there is a downloadable document where you can actually go get the information. But so, I'm talking about, how do you know if you love too much? So listen to these symptoms and think about if they apply to you. So often from a dysfunctional home, that was me. Tries vicariously to compensate for the need to be nurtured by over nurturing others. That was me. For me, it manifested itself from my daddyless daughter syndrome. So daddy doesn't love you, so no one else will type of thing. And so then I would overcompensate by trying to do the things that would make people love me. You get used to being around emotionally unavailable people. And particularly for me, I chose emotionally unavailable men. And it was always an epic fail until I learned to heal from that and those behaviors. Terrified of abandonment. That was a huge one for me. Overcompensating by clinging to dead relationships. Oftentimes when we're afraid of and have abandonment issues of our own, typically it's stuff that stems way back in childhood. But oftentimes then we tend to try and hold on to any relationship that we have. And remember, when I talk about relationships, I'm speaking holistically. So intimate relationships, friendships, family, whole 9 yards. But we tend to hold on to stuff that we really need to let go just because we want to keep every relationship that we get bundled up so close to us just in case, so we don't run out. And it's so toxic, you guys. It's so toxic. Another one, assumes over half the blame, half the guilt. Something goes wrong in a relationship, I was always the one to be like, I would try and fix it. Not everything can be fixed. Not everything should be fixed. Some stuff you need to let go. And, as someone who used to love too much and love the wrong people the wrong way, I can attest to that. Low self-esteem, that's a big one. Masking the need to control by being helpful to reassure yourself. So what that looks like is someone who really, really wants constant reassurance that the relationship is there, that they're loved, that they're being cared for. And when they don't find that, then they do things to try and manipulate the relationship. They try and manipulate the situation to create an environment that provides the reassurance that they need that the relationship is still intact. And unfortunately, oftentimes we're trying this on, like I said, emotionally unavailable people. Well, someone who's emotionally unavailable, who doesn't care about your feelings, nor do they care whether or not you feel reassured or whatever. And so it's really a losing battle to try and manipulate someone who's emotionally unavailable, someone who doesn't care for you, someone who you need to let go. What else? Addicted to it says addicted to men and addicted to emotional pain. That was huge for me. I was constantly looking for validation and authentication and approval from other men because I didn't get it from my father. And then, being molested when I was 12, that just further exacerbated a lot of my issues. And so I carried all that stuff into adulthood. You're drawn to people that need fixing. That was huge for me. Like, I think every guy that I ever dated had an issue, and I just thought for sure I can love you enough to make you healthy, happy, and whole. And it was a long road for me to realize you can't. No, you can't. You also can't love anyone enough to make them love you back. It just doesn't work that way. Also, people have a tendency towards depression. I never suffered from depression, but I know I have clients who do. I've had friends who do. And when we take a deep dive into where some of these issues come from, a lot of it is this emotional baggage, this emotional bankruptcy that hasn't ever been dealt with. And it leads into these deeper and manifests in deeper issues. So how do you identify, like, what kind of behaviors, right? You notice a problem, but you won't speak on it. I was famous for that. I would be seething inside about something, but I would not say anything to the individual for fear that he would leave. What else? Willing to solve it and take responsibility for creating it. So I thought that, like I said, I thought I could fix everything, and realized later that I definitely couldn't. But then I would take responsibility for it. Like, it was my fault that things were falling apart. It was my fault that things weren't just right. And so I would do stuff to try and make it all better. And obviously it's not going to get better because it's the nature of the beast. You're in a toxic relationship and you are giving to someone who's not even a lot of times interested in receiving what you're offering. What else? If they don't love me, it's my fault. Again, I thought that I could love people enough to make them love me back. And love equals pain. That was a big one. I think because of so much disappointment that I suffered in my childhood, that was what I equated it to. That's what I witnessed. And so when I'm working with clients and some of the language that they use, like, well, that's just how guys are. That's how relationships are. That's how it's always been. And getting them to understand that that's the way your past has been because you don't have the tools in your toolbox for it to be different. And I always say, if you want different, you have to do different. And that certainly is the case with relationships. This is a big one. Obsession. Have you ever had someone, or have you ever, and this is on the list, it's on the downloadable list too, but someone that changes their behavior every time they get in a new relationship. So every time they start talking to a new person or get into a new relationship or whatever, their behavior suddenly changes and you're like, who are you? You're not the person that I thought you were. Like, they either start going out more, they won't go out at all. Just all kinds of crazy stuff that you're just like, if that person calls, they drop everything that they're doing. All of these are signs that you might be loving a little bit too much. And remember, we teach people how to treat us by what we accept from them. And so sometimes we teach these bad behaviors, and not only do we teach them, but in some cases the bad behaviors are already there, but we're craving the relationship so badly that we're willing to work around them. And so then we, unbeknownst, oftentimes reinforce those bad behaviors. And just letting the relationship control you. That obsession, not knowing the difference between obsession and love, becomes very, very controlling of you as an individual. Is very demanding on you because everything that you do then now revolves around that other person. And that was a huge one for me. I was so guilty of that. And like I said, you guys, I'm excited about this book because the stuff that she talks about, the author's name is Robin Norwood, and the stuff that she talks about is game-changing stuff because I think 7 out of 10 individuals will find themselves in much of these identifiers. It was the first time I read this book, I was just like, OMG. It was like she took a snapshot of my life, a snapshot of my relationships, and said, boom, here you go. This is what women who love too much look like. And it was me in every way, shape, form, and fashion. So like I said, the downloadable document is there. It has all 20 of them. I did not go over all 20 with you in the interest of time, but that's why I wanted to make the document available. So go to my website, marcybatiste.com. The document is there, and all 20 indicators are listed on there. It's 20 indicators that you may love too much. And just see if you find yourself in that list at all. And if you do, inbox me. Just let me know what you find. I'm just curious. But in the meantime, in the between time, guys, I totally appreciate you joining me on here. Also, make sure that if you haven't done so already, that you pop over to YouTube. All of the 30 Books in 30 Weeks videos are being replicated over on YouTube, so make sure that you go over there and you subscribe, because there's a bunch of other good videos and good content out there as well. So in the meantime and in between time, guys, thanks for living life on Mars, and I'll talk to you soon.